Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Sharing Wisdom. I'm your host, Angie Wisdom. And today, oh my gosh, you guys are in for a treat. I've brought the queen of authenticity here. I mean, genuinely has built her businesses with her creative mind and her passion to be authentic. She is the founder of Coffee Dose and Bronze Bunny, and it's going to be a good, and I feel like maybe a fiery episode. Welcome, Jeni. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been a conversation that I've wanted to have for a long time because, as I said to you offline, like, I am so intrigued and I admire your authenticity so much. Like, I can genuinely say I don't know of anyone else out there who is authentic as you are with their brand, their business, their life. All of it is truly inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, let me just ask you right out of the gate, like, have you always been like that?
Yes, but I would say I was probably a little more reserved in like high school just because I was raised very strict. I was like raised in the church.
Look at you.
Who would have known? But yeah, I was, and I'm an only child.
Okay.
I had a lot of imaginary friends. I grew up around adults because my parents' friends. And so, yeah, I would say this is probably an older me.
Okay.
That's kind of come out and emerged as someone that has a lot to say.
Yeah. I mean, was there a moment in your life that you can remember that you were like, I've kind of got some things to say and I want to be who I am and say what I want to say?
Yeah. So my dad, I lost my dad last year, but my dad, and that was actually kind of a big deal for me. Like not that his death was good, but like a lot came out of that and a lot got kind of put to rest, my like inner child stuff. Yeah. But I would say, I think just not caring what he thought of me and like the judge who's very judgmental. And I felt like I always had to look, act a certain way and kind of that picture perfect child.
Yeah.
I had to, obey God.
Yeah.
I had to read the Bible. I had to do well in school. Had to do well in school. I should be going to USC. I should have taken over his dental practice, all of those things. And so I think once I got to the point in my life where I realized that none of that really mattered. And what mattered most was just being true to myself and how good that felt to just come out and be like, hey, I was actually never any of those things. I didn't like any of those things. They never served me. And this is really who I am. And I think once I got to the point of like not caring what he thought, I emerged as who I was really meant to be.
Wow. And I think for people who know you, and I know a lot of people know you, it's probably even hard to imagine you in that space of like doing what you're supposed to do, being the good girl, doing well in school and the Bible and all of that. But you did it.
I was.
Wow.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I have never felt more comfortable in my skin. I really, truly love and own who I am. And that is probably why I've been able to be successful is because I don't really care about what other people think of me. All I know is that when I look in the mirror, I'm happy, I feel good, and I don't have to answer to anyone.
I try to get people to embrace that every single day. And there's this almost negative vibe around people going, well, like, gosh, shouldn't you care what people think? And it's not in a mean way, but speak a little to that. Like, what did you have to let go of to truly feel like, I don't care what you think?
Yeah, I mean, especially living in Orange County. And I mean, I grew up in Riverside, but I moved out here right after my parents' divorce, which is also like another part of the story, right?
Yeah.
I moved out here and just, like, I joke that I'm a ex-party girl with daddy issues.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of why I'm the way that I am. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't, it's so hard to say it because it's easy to say, but like, I just didn't care. I just didn't care about looking like my friends, or like I was probably one of the first people to get a sleeve of tattoos in my hood in Huntington, which there was a lot of guys with tattoos and I kind of felt like I was blending in, but not a lot of girls were doing that when I started. So, I mean, now everyone has tattoos, I feel like, but it was just a way for me to express myself. And again, I just didn't really care what people thought. It made me feel good. And Yeah.
Well, you didn't have that chance to express yourself for so long.
I didn't.
It was probably like bottled up and you were like, F this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do and say what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what year, and I don't know this, like what year you started Bronze Bunny first?
2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah. But I've always, I get to speak at my daughter's entrepreneur fair tomorrow.
How amazing.
At her school. I know. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I started in 2011, but I've always been an entrepreneur. Like, I mean, it goes way back. I feel like I sold things to like the neighborhood. I would like make bracelets and sell them door to door. I mean, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. But yeah, 2011 was Bronze Bunny, and that was a really big deal for me. That was like my first actual shop too. I used to have businesses out of my car. Like I was a massage therapist, and I started this business called Bad Girl Bartending with my friend. That was actually really cute, and I had a logo made that was like me in a martini glass. It was
so cute.
I've always really cared about the branding.
Yes. Oh, that shows.
Yeah. So Bronze Bunny, I absolutely love that brand. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I just wanted to create an experience that didn't exist, where women could come in and just feel beautiful and feel amazing and powerful and sexy. And I gave them a place to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty unique and special.
Thanks.
And the branding around it is so fun. And I didn't know it back in 2011. So was your branding like that right out of the gate?
Yes.
That bold
Yes.
and fun? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because it was a lot of me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the beach. I loved the Palm Springs pool scene. I loved like wearing the skimpy bikinis, and that always made me feel sexy and powerful. And then obviously you have a tan to go with it, so that was just a plus. But yeah, I mean, it was just a fun experience too. I mean, it still is. It's still amazing, just like it was when I first opened it. You come in, we give you a pink Bellini. You feel like you're hanging out at home with your friends, which I love. I mean, that was definitely thought out. Yeah, we let you pick a chick flick on the TV. So, yeah.
And it's what I love about, because, you know, I go there, is that you guys have taken out almost like any weirdness or taboo around pretty much stripping down naked and getting your business taken care of, whether it's a tan, whether it's waxing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, who cares? What's the big deal? You know, which I think is really important for some people who tend to be a little bit more in that box, you know, in those lines, no pun intended.
Yeah. And a lot of the training too. I mean, look, some of these girls are 21. And some of our clients are 60. So the last thing a 60-year-old wants to do is take off their clothes in front of a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
So we have to try extra hard to make that client feel comfortable and special and welcome and safe. And a lot of that has to do with our training, just making sure that the girls are talking to them on their level and really just trying to ease them. And I think that they do such a good job of that.
Yeah.
I would say I get the most compliments on just the way that my staff makes our clients feel.
That's awesome.
It's important when you're naked.
Huge. Yeah. That's an ideal time to feel really good.
Yes.
And safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. Like, what are those core principles or values that you know need to show up in your company, your culture, that really make your brand and your business thrive so much?
Yeah. So I'm a visionary founder. It starts the minute that you walk into the door. I mean, sometimes it starts in the parking lot, but you know, the minute that you walk in the door, I want you to feel fully immersed in your experience, whether you're at the coffee shop or whether you're a Bronze Bunny. I want you to feel like this is not your typical business. It's not your typical waxing salon or coffee shop. I want you to feel special. And especially when you bring in friends, like, I think that's the biggest aha moment for me is when I'm sitting having coffee. I mean, I know we're talking about Bronze Bunny, but when I'm sitting having coffee and, you know, girls walk in and clearly they're bringing someone for the first time because that the friend that's with them is, you know, they've got their phone out and they're just in awe of everything. And then that friend feels so special because it's like a little secret, you know, it's like a little secret thing. They're like, let me show you something that you've never seen before. And that's how people are with Bronze Bunny too. It's really special.
Yeah, that experience.
Yeah.
Was that always your mind, this creative mind as a child? And
yeah, I was definitely creative. I think it's like the only child thing. I mean, there was always a lot going on in my mind behind closed doors.
Yeah.
I had to entertain myself.
Right.
So very, very creative. I was a makeup artist for a long time. I was always in the beauty industry. I used to do my friends like makeup for prom and midwinter when I was in high school. So I was, 14, 15 doing 6, 7 girls makeup before we went to prom.
Oh my gosh.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like that was fun. I just love like making people feel good.
Yeah.
And that's definitely has carried on,
Yeah, absolutely. And it shows in your businesses that experience.
Yeah.
Instead of, you're not just getting a service, you're not just getting a product, you're having a whole experience for that. And so you had Bronze Bunny, and then, you went to Coffee Dose, you started Coffee Dose. And I remember you being out of, kind of a coffee shop inside of another shop for a little bit. When you went into that second business, what had you learned from Bronze Bunny about business?
So not a lot of people know this, but Coffee Dose was actually born because I hated what I did with Bronze Bunny because I franchised it.
Okay.
And I took something very special that I worked so hard to build, and I put it in this little box and I sold it. And I was like, okay, here's the Bronze Bunny experience. And now you too can own it. That's franchising.
Yep.
And that was not the experience I had with it. And it's nobody's fault but mine. I think that if I could say I have had one failure, it was creating the Bronze Bunny franchise. I wanted to do it myself. I was so protective of it, and I didn't hire consultants. I just had my team, and we did all of the support, and we did the sales, and we did the, taking the applications in and vetting the potential franchisees. And I hated that. That was not, I loved being customer facing. I wanted to be with my clients. I wanted to be with my staff. I didn't want to be in an office. I lost my creative juices. So it was just very weird how, opportunities present themselves. Yeah. And, if you listen, then it could be a really beautiful thing. And I listened, and it was like a day I was just creatively drained. And I remember going home, and I had a phone call with a friend, and she was looking for a space for her hair salon. And she was like my hair girl probably for 10 or 15 years. Yeah. And I'm always everyone's cheerleader. I'm always like, you can do this, start your own business, don't work for anyone else, you got this. And she was working for somebody else, doing hair. And I ended up finding her a space. I was like, okay, I'm going to set you up with my commercial broker. We found the East 18th space, and we were talking, and we're like, how cool would it be to do a coffee bar and a hair salon? I love coffee. I have no coffee business experience. It was just like, I just blurted it out, and I wanted to help. I was really excited. So I connected her with a few people in the industry that I knew had small coffee brands that would potentially take this opportunity, and it didn't work out. So my husband and I were laying in bed one night, and I'm like, I want to do the coffee shop. I want to do it. I think that we should do it. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we're going to do it. And he was horrified.
I was going to say, was he on board, supportive, or oh my gosh?
At first he was horrified just because he was like, great.
We have so much time.
Yeah, we don't know anything about this. But it was the best decision that we made. And I'm so happy that he was on board. And the next day he really he got after it. I mean, he was doing all sorts of research, and we ended up finding Common Room Roasters, who is a local, they have Milligram. Great coffee brand, great guys. Aussie guys, so nice, so great to work with, especially not knowing anything. And they came in and helped us. They helped us lay out the bar and set up the flow, and they provided us the coffee beans. I knew that I didn't have to have coffee business experience. I just knew that I loved coffee, and my husband and I traveled all over the world and drank a lot of coffee and visited a lot of shops. So I would say that at least that was good enough to get us started. Right. And I knew I could hire the right people to do the right things. Yeah. I wasn't trying to, I wasn't trying to be head barista at the time. Right. I'm a brand builder, so I knew I could build a brand. And I knew I could sell anything. If I branded it, I knew I could sell it. So it was coffee. Yeah.
And you knew you weren't going to franchise it after what you had done with Bronze Bunny, right?
That was anytime someone said that word, it didn't matter what it was. It didn't even have to pertain to my businesses. I was just like, ugh.
What did it do to you? Like, what do you feel like happened with that?
I just think I had the wrong people too. And that, even if I did it a different way, there's always that chance, you know? I think it was just a mixture of things. And my heart really wasn't in it. I didn't know what I was getting into, and I didn't know really what it took. And because I didn't hire the consultant or team up with a development team, it just wasn't what I expected.
Well, I often wonder sometimes with franchising, like, it's not a Chick-fil-A, you know what I mean? Like, with what you're doing in this real experience, like, can you actually sell that or have somebody model it to that same experience that you've created because you've talked to these people one-on-one and made the culture that you have? That's a hard thing to do, it seems like. And I was always worried about that. I was always worried about what these customers in other states were experiencing, because that had my name on it. Right. So that was hard, and I really didn't think that through. All I knew is that I wanted the brand to be everywhere. I wanted everyone to have a piece of Bronze Bunny. And I tried it, and it wasn't the best experience, but I'm really glad I did it. I feel like I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about my own business, things that I didn't even realize. So it was good. And that's huge. And you said earlier, like, if I had one fail or made one mistake, but really, like, would you have opened up Coffee Dose? Honestly, no. No. So everything happens for a reason. Absolutely. And where would we be without Coffee Dose? I know, right? Oh my gosh. Dead in the gutter. We'd be at Starbucks. Oh, it's just so sad. Right? Yeah. And it has been so fun to see that it spread like wildfire. You know, you drive down Newport Boulevard. I remember when you first opened your small one on Newport Boulevard, and the traffic alone. It was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, and we're definitely in a different place now in the coffee scene in Costa Mesa than we were when we opened Coffee Dose. So we had a very, very unique situation in that little pocket of town. I mean, there was nothing. So that was kind of easy. And then top it off with just our fun, cheeky branding. And, we coined the phrase anti-bitch serum, which obviously everyone knows. Right. But that started out as our CBD latte. And then I don't know if you knew this, but we got shut down by the health department, and we got our product seized, and it was like a whole thing. Oh yeah, I had no idea. I was in the newspaper. How did I miss that? I tend to focus on the good stuff that's happening. I mean, the CBD, we were like the first people to do CBD lattes. So that's not allowed, huh? No, they don't like it. They don't like you to have any fun. And they also don't realize that CBD, I think at that time it was such a weird gray area, and I remember talking to these city officials. I'm like, it doesn't get you high. No one's high here. Right. I'm not high. It's matcha and CBD. Like, just it's to relax, you know? Yeah, they didn't get it. But we kept anti-bitch serum. I mean, that was just amazing. Good. And you have so many other, I mean, Don't Be a Karen, I think is one of them, right? Anti-Karen serum. Anti-Karen serum. Got a lot of hate for that from the Karens. But bless their hearts. You don't care what people think. I don't. And that, I don't know if you ever saw that video, and you just, as soon as I leave, you have to watch it. If you haven't seen it, the viral Karen video, it ended up having like 3 million views. It was crazy. I don't know. So there was a period of time where it was during cancel culture. It was when everyone was stuck at home and had nothing better to do. There was a Karen support group, on Facebook from Karens all over the world. I did not that would join together and cry about how their name was being used. And Coffee Dose kept coming up in the Karen support group. And so they all decided to take to Yelp and Google. And in one day we got like 3,000 bad Yelp and Google reviews. Oh my gosh. But then it also went the other way. Yes. So my team and I got together, and I was pissed. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Like, they were mad because we had a sign out front that said, no, Karen, you can't speak to the manager. I remember that. It is so fun. It's so funny. And Karen was having a moment. It was like Felicia. You don't see a Felicia support group. Right. Like, bye, Felicia. Anyways, the Karens were angry, and they tried to come for us, and I kept getting the notification of
1 star, 1 star, 1 star.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed, and it was COVID. And so like the world was shut down, and I was just angry. And I told my team, I said, we have to do something about this. I cannot take this.
Yeah.
And we put together a video and we posted it, and it went viral.
Oh,
so
wow.
all of those 1 stars, everyone came back and gave 5 stars. A lot of other people gave 5 stars.
Oh,
So
wow.
it definitely backfired for them.
Well, for sure. And it's like, what better way to show you're Karen by dropping a 1-star review? I mean, you're pretty much making
if the
this
shoe
whole
fits,
thing.
Karen,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
Right?
But it
Oh my
was so good.
gosh.
Somebody, someone related it to using the N-word. That's the same. It's on the same lines. So we
Oh, come
posted
on.
that
Yeah.
comment. We posted, so many good ones. And I'm sure you've been to the flagship.
Yeah.
We have one framed, and everyone thinks it's fake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's so funny.
Nobody-
I
yeah.
love that you guys did that.
Like, no,
it was
really.
a Yelp review. So it's a 1-star Yelp review, and it says, despicable people, they should call their place coffee douche.
Oh, I did see that one.
From
yes.
Karen, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, no, that is a legitimate
Yeah. No, that's
review
real.
from someone actually named Karen. Like, you can't make it up.
No, it
was gold.
It's so golden. It's so humorous that I don't even think probably, and no offense to Karens right now,
Yeah.
but like that they didn't even realize that by them posting the review and saying those things and then putting their name Karen on the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
that
And
just
there was
grew
so
that.
much more. I mean, if I really wish I could have documented it more. The amount of times I would come into the shop and there would be Post-it notes. Please return Karen's call at 949.
Oh.
Please return Karen M called at 2:30. She wants to talk to the manager. I mean, that like really happened. That was like a daily thing. They were just pissed trying to get a hold of me. Yeah,
So
the emails and
do you feel like you're on good terms with Karens now, or
no,
what? No.
no. They're gonna have PTSD for life. But I mean, it was a good time, and it put us on the map even more. So thanks to them, engagement was.
Yeah, they often say there is no bad publicity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It makes me think of like one of the things I think about you and your brand. I'm like, you don't really want to engage in combat there. Like I've seen you fire back at Starbucks or disgruntled people or the people that aren't being honest about your brand or what they have to say, and it's not really a game you want to play.
And I think too, like a lot of people don't know this, and I don't really care. It doesn't bother me to say it, but we are one of the most disrespected brands in the coffee industry.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. People think that we're a joke because we're just Instagrammable, that we don't care about the product. All of these people have never actually
Oh my gosh,
been
that's so
and
inaccurate.
tried our coffee. I mean, we obviously laugh about it, but it is funny to think that, there's people that bash us all the time. Close by. I mean, competitors, and there's so many people out there. We offer something truly unique. We are not your typical coffee shop.
Yeah.
For a reason. We don't offer Wi-Fi. We make jokes about it. I don't want you to sit there. I want everyone to be able to experience it and bring their friend.
Yeah.
It's not a co-working space. We're Coffee Dose. We're special. We're different.
And why can't you be? You know what I mean? Like to be judged by somebody else or another brand or another coffee company for being what you want to be.
Yeah.
And I often say, like, if those brands and those people invested the time that they spent, targeting you or being mad at you or insulting you and actually focused on their business and what their brand represents, you wouldn't be in that situation. They wouldn't be in that situation.
And the one thing I really wanted to do with Coffee Dose and our offering was I wanted to put out clean products. Like all of our shops are seed oil free now. We still offer oat milk as an alternative to your lattes, but as far as the kitchen and the food, we're seed oil free. Like I really care about the ingredients. I really care about our product. I really care about our beans. We roast our own beans. I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say, but come in and try it.
Yeah, no, it couldn't be further from the truth. But I do think that sometimes because your brands are so fun, and they are such an experience, that it can almost have this feeling for some people, like, oh, it's a gimmicky thing, it's a show thing. But really, like what you just said, like I don't think people understand enough until they hear you talk like that there is such care and thoughtfulness in the products that you have and how you're treating people and what you're creating.
For sure. Like our vanilla, people are constantly asking us to bottle and sell our vanilla. We lose money on our vanilla. Our vanilla paste is like Madagascar vanilla bean. It is the most expensive vanilla bean you can buy. And I love it, and I'll never change it. So yeah, there's a lot of thought that goes into it.
Yeah. And it amazes me, kind of going back to the authenticity piece, like you put out some, I don't even know the right word to use, some edgy stuff sometimes, right? And I'm like, I feel like every time you put out something edgy, more people come to see you.
Yeah, for sure. And we're at this point right now too, where, we are trying to be a little more professional, not in the traditional sense, but my kids are learning to read. Okay. I do hear that a lot from moms, like, oh God, my kids can read that. It's like, yeah, but I definitely think I have sparked a lot of maybe premature conversations that parents are having to have with their children. Sorry, moms. Sorry, dads. But if it's not for you and it's not for your family, there's 10 other coffee shops within a 2-mile radius that you can go.
Right.
And I can't create something for everyone. It just doesn't work like that. That isn't how it, that's just not how it works. So if I can create something special for 1, 2, 3 people, then I'm happy.
Yeah. But I think it's that authenticity that people lack sometimes that draws them to you.
For sure.
In a good way, like, gosh, I wish I could say the things. I wish I could be just myself. They really look up to that and honor that and just are like, yeah, I want to support that.
Yeah. And we have PC cups. Like we actually have a button that's like PC cup.
Really?
Yeah, like we have people that stop by with their families on their way to church, or they're going to an HR meeting or what have you. Yeah. I remember, so 2 of my leases actually, this is so great. They say in the lease that we can't say fuck.
Oh.
Or
really?
Yeah, fuck. What's the other one? I think we could say asshole. Anyways, it's so great to get to send that to our attorney, and be like, can you review this lease? And yes, we know that there's that clause about we can't say fuck. We agreed to that. So there's like 2 corporate park complexes that we're in, and we can't say fuck in there. Oh, but we did do Boo You Whore for Halloween, which we love. Mean Girls quote. And I guess there's an HR company in one of the office buildings, and they reached out to the property manager, and they're like, how does this look when I'm entering into an HR meeting with Boo You Whore? It's like, well, all you had to do was ask. We have plenty of other options.
Right. Oh, because he was taking coffee into the meeting.
Yeah. I'm like, well, we can't say whore anymore? This is so boring. That's like one of the nicest words we have to offer. So we got so fucking zen. I mean, there's so many classics.
That is awesome. I can only imagine like the property management people who dropped the lease are like, God, how did we miss that word? We should have added this other word.
Yeah. And you
keep them on their toes.
It's funny too. Like right now we have follow all of fuck off, but it's written in cursive. It's sweet. It's soft. It's an understatement. It's just like, it's not bold and in your face. I feel like there's plenty of ways to express fuck, and we do it in kind of a nice way.
Yeah, I mean, who says it's got to be a negative thing?
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. But I want people to really see, because I talk about this all the time in the authenticity space, and people trying to give up what other people think in direction of their authenticity, and it truly does create your highest self, like your highest potential and your best use of you, your creativity, your visionary, all of that. I mean, if you didn't show up authentically, do you think you'd have the brands that you have?
No, we would be just like everyone else.
Yeah.
My businesses would look like everyone else. You would come in and get waxed in a sterile, well lit, doctor's office vibe. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I love what we've done. I love putting myself into these brands. I love being inappropriate. I just feel like everyone takes everything so seriously. And we would just look like everyone else if I didn't stand up and make change.
Absolutely. So what do you tell people? I mean, I'm sure you get asked a lot about business advice and being an entrepreneur and your brands and all of that. What's usually the message that you're sharing with people?
Stay true to yourself. And also, a lot of people have trouble understanding who they really are too. And I think you really have to figure that out, especially when you're starting a new business. Who is your customer? How do you want them to feel? How can you tap into maybe something that's on the inside that you've been too afraid to put on the outside, you know? And I feel like when someone really sits with themselves and really thinks about that, a lot of things can come up, you know?
Yeah. Was there ever a moment where you feared, like, is this going to work?
Never.
Never.
No, I know you're a manifester too.
Yeah.
So I've lived my life just believing my own bullshit.
Yeah.
It works for me. It's funny when I try to like give that advice to other people. I'm like, no, but seriously, like you just have to believe that you can do it.
Yeah. Like
truly believe it. For me, it's so matter of fact.
There's no other choice.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I truly, with all of my being, believe that. So I would say definitely that's always like, you have to believe that you can do anything, because you can. I mean, 10 years ago, would I ever thought I would have a coffee brand? I mean, no, not at all. I don't even think I drank a lot of coffee 10 years ago. Yeah.
What did you believe you could do, 10, 20 years ago?
I mean, I did believe I could do anything, but I didn't really know how many different things I could do.
Yeah.
I think that when you're an entrepreneur and you really truly love business and providing experiences for people, you can pretty much do any, plug in anything, and I can brand it and sell it and make you love it and need it and want it.
So true. You definitely have a gift for that, which I think is important too. I remember we had a conversation a long time ago, and you were in this space of like so many things going on.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs and business owners, I believe, always get kind of down this road of getting into the things that they probably shouldn't be involved in their business.
Yeah.
Instead of going, I'm creative, I'm a visionary, like this is where I need to spend my time, and not in the books or not in franchising agreements or anything else like that. Have you gone through those ebbs and flows of being in different parts of your business where you probably shouldn't be and found where you need to be?
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, my team and I, we all joke, like I'm actually not organized. I'm a master delegator. I still joke, like when people call the shop, if I happen to answer the phone or I run into somebody, they're like, don't you own this place? I'm like, no, I work in the marketing department. Like, I'm not the owner. She's the owner. And I'll like pass the torch off to somebody else that's a little more professional. But no, I hate spreadsheets. I like numbers more on like the top level.
Yeah.
I check our sales, multiple times a day. I know for the most part what our costs are and things like that. But I hate those conversations and those meetings, because it's just not how my brain works.
Right.
A lot of times like that information literally goes in and it just leaves immediately. But when it comes to like the branding and the marketing and what our customer is, like what we're building for the customer and the experience we're about to push out, whether it's like, a new campaign or we're getting ready for holiday, like our meetings are amazing. Like we're getting ready for Valentine's Day, and we were just can I say anything on here?
You can say anything you want.
So we're getting ready for our Naughty Heart cookies, which are a good time.
Oh yeah.
So I filmed my our like brand manager the other day, and she's like, so are we just redoing the cookies from next year? Like, do you want me to run through them? And I'd have some new ideas too. And so she's running through last year. I'm like, I don't know, those are the tried and true. And she's like, okay, so we've got DTF, WAP, his loss, as if, or whatever. Like, so, and then she's like, anal, because that was a cookie with a question mark. I was like, we have to keep anal, because that's great.
That was a good one.
It's a classic, anal with a question mark. I mean, come on, how would you not want to have that cookie?
Oh my gosh,
it's so funny.
Genius.
But those are our marketing meetings. I mean, they're so bad.
Do you all laugh like the whole meeting?
We have so much fun. And my team, like, they send me notes all the time, just like, thank you for this. Because I mean, even like our email headers when we're talking with vendors. Yeah. Especially like Mouse Graphics on 17th Street. They do all of our printing. And it's always like,
they dying.
Yeah. Bitch sign needed, ASAP, rush the bitch order. It's just like the things are just, it's just too good. Or like, you know, we need to make fuck just a little like softer. If you could like take a couple strokes off, you know, like just, and we're so matter of fact because we're just kind of numb to it. But there are definitely lots of times where we sit back and we're just like, oh my God, this is so fun.
I would think so. And it's like just the way you're explaining it.
Yeah.
When you take off like the guardrails like that, anything is possible.
Yeah.
Like you guys can, there are no boundaries of like what you can create and what you want to say. And that just shows in your brand and how freeing that must be.
Yeah.
I love to laugh. Like I would be dying every day working around you and your team. I mean, when I watch your videos and whether it's some shenanigan in the drive-through or the snowman with his carrot nose, you know, as his...
So this mom came in the other day and she was with her daughter, and I want to say the daughter is probably like 5 years old or 4 years old, and she's like, oh, mommy, what happened to his nose? And the mom said, oh, it melted off his face. I was like, that was good.
Genius.
That was so like fast too. I was like, yes, it did.
I wonder if she was prepared for that.
Is not
like,
a carrot dick, honey.
It's not what you think.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's prepared for that. I'm going to Coffee Dose. Let me see what we're going to get and how I'm going to formulate these responses to the questions that I get.
And you know, we are lucky in Orange County because I do feel like we have a really good community of just fun moms that are really like-minded like myself.
Right.
And you know, I mean, my son, he's doing that like duck, bo buck, banana, fana, like we're teaching him. And so now he tries to say fuck, which is super funny. Like my husband taught him that. And it's like, I mean, I don't want him to say it all the time, but I mean, when these kids say things, you're just like, okay, that was really funny. And then you just kind of got to move on. But, you know, I feel like it's just all about how you are raising them and having those open conversations, and it's okay to, you know, have fun, and as long as you're kind, and you know, I just feel like there's definitely a lot of conversations that need to be had. But as far as Coffee Dose goes, if that's not something that you're comfortable bringing your children in, then you know, there's other places. And I hate that. Like I would hate for anyone to ever come in and like feel uncomfortable, especially if they're with their family. But I think for the most part, everyone's pretty cool about it.
Yeah. And you know what I hear in that, which is so interesting, is you have zero judgment to the people or towards the people who maybe don't see eye to eye with it and don't want to, you know, partake in it or whatever. And that, you know, for anyone listening, like that is so key. Like if you want to be authentic and not feel judged, then you have to not judge other people for their choices.
For sure.
And you seem to be good at that unless they're kind of coming after you.
Yeah. And I'm actually, so I'm building my personal brand right now. That's a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
I went private on my Instagram for a while just because my PR girl, she's really great, but she's like, you're in jail. Like you need to just go private for a little while. She's like, you also need to learn to use close friends. I'm very controversial. There's like no mistaking that. Like I say whatever is on my mind. I don't think before I speak. And sometimes it offends people, and I don't ever mean to do that. I never want to like hurt anyone or say anything that, but we're in a world now where everything is taken the wrong way. Everyone's very sensitive and they're looking for things to be offended about. And so I'm trying to reemerge as like still being myself, being a professional, being a business owner and an entrepreneur and all the things that I am, and a mother, but still using my voice, not caring about what anyone thinks about me.
Yeah, we got to keep that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to like find that happy medium of, you know, not pissing off tons of people, but still being myself.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
That's a really neat kind of place to be. You know, you had one extreme as being so censored and, you know, had to perform this way, and then you were like, screw that, and you really went all out in this other direction, and now finding this middle ground of, you know, the blend. It
even goes back to like COVID, and I don't know if you knew this, but I went and protested at the Capitol multiple times, and I was advocating for the beauty industry and to reopen salons, and I got so much shit for that. Like I got equal parts. People praised me and thanked me for the work that I was doing, and then I got people that were just like hating on me and labeling me a Trump supporter because I was fighting for rights. And I mean, all of these things, and that was just like like everyone was very sensitive, and people were just trying to come for everyone. That was like a hard time. But I did what I did, and I posted about it, and I never hid anything. I just, I stood up for what I believed in, you know, and if you wanted to label me whatever you wanted to label me, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me.
Right. So true. I mean, nobody can say you are not transparent.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Well, I hope with all the PR and the
PR coaching.
Yeah, that we don't lose the full Jeni Castro.
No, she's not going anywhere.
Okay.
And I am, you know, I'm getting older. I'm 43 now, and it's so weird to say because I feel like I'm 15.
Yeah.
Like I'm so emotionally immature. Everyone's always like, how do you look so young? I'm like, well, it's mainly because I'm emotionally immature, but
Is that
feel
the
like
trick?
It helps me keep the glow. But yeah, I feel like I'm so young.
Yeah.
But I am getting older, and I'm trying to be a professional, whatever that means. But this is me.
For the record, 40s, I believe, are like the very best decade.
They feel pretty great so far.
So amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping I say that about my 50s in another year, but
I hear that from my 50-year-old friends, but
Yeah. Probably all perspective, right?
Yeah.
How you want to look at
sure.
it. Yeah. I asked you, and I want to kind of go back to this for a minute because I know people are curious, that moment when you were building your business and you probably were dealing with spreadsheets and the things that you didn't want to do, like how did you decide to bring people on and to grow and scale so that you didn't have to do those things?
Yeah.
And you could focus where you were really great at.
I mean, I had lots of reality checks, but I just think really knowing truly what my talents were and where I shined, and I knew that, I mean, I could figure anything out, but I mean, I'm good at a lot of things. I'm not good at everything. That's just the reality. And that's how a lot of people are. And I think once you can recognize that, you're going to be a very successful business owner.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people too are really nervous about hiring and putting those people in place because, you know, they're involved in some high level things. And that's a scary thing to open yourself up like that. But again, I dive into things. I try not to overthink it, because once you overthink it, like everything just gets lost and ruined, I feel like. And you just, or maybe you psych yourself out, you never do it. It's just like you think, and then it never comes to fruition.
Right.
You know?
Can't plan everything.
Yeah. And I mean, even if I made mistakes in hiring people, which I have, I learned from it. I grew from it. You know, it's the only way to figure it out. I would just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The famous words of Jeni Castro. Yes.
Fuck it. But thank God I was able to say fuck it and bring on these people and build my teams, because without my team, I would be nothing.
Yeah.
People compliment me all the time, which I love and I appreciate. You know, oh my God, you're so good at branding. You're so good at marketing. It's not just me. It's my team, and we work really well together, and I am so fortunate.
Yeah.
Like, I have this whole group of like cheerleaders that are in my corner that I get to work with every day, and it's amazing. And my husband too, you know, like he's my own cheerleader.
He's making husbands everywhere look bad.
I know.
Gotta, like, I don't know if he ever does anything not great, but
he's pretty amazing, and he's just so supportive, and he just like lets me be me, and he's just so great.
He fits, and it's just, I always think about your branding, and even when you all are doing, you know, personal photo shoots and stuff, and just the way he shows up, I'm like, he just has that same vibe as you. Like, you all just fit this like role perfectly, the whole family. It's really fun to watch from the outside.
Thank you. Yeah, Carmen's going to be working her coffee dose cart tomorrow at the Entrepreneur Fair.
Oh, that is so
They call her the
awesome.
Duchess of Dose.
I love it. How fun for your kids to go through that journey.
Yeah. I was just talking about this with somebody the other day, that I grew up in a dental office. I like worked in my dad's dental office when I was like 10, 11, 12. That's not something exciting. Like, I don't think back. I'm like, that was so cool.
Right.
And I mean, Carmen's got it made.
Oh,
like, this
man.
Her little friends will come in their like private school. You know, she goes to private school, and they'll come in their uniforms, and they'll say, is Carmen said she was working today. I'm like, oh no, she's not. No, she's not here. She's not here today.
Can you please tell everyone how old Carmen is while
7.
they're listening to this?
7, and we go there for breakfast a lot. So if you go to Flagship in the mornings, like Carmen and I are there a lot, and she likes to work before school. and she'll pull
So
shots.
amazing.
Like she pulls shots
Yeah.
of espresso.
Oh my gosh.
Like she knows how to make some of the drinks. It's really cute, and
That
she
is
loves
so
it.
cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has her
that's
little
so
step
good.
stool and she pulls it out.
I'm going to have to come get a shot pulled by
Yeah.
Carmen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
So you've had all this. First of all, how many stores do you have now?
5.
5. And the first one opened
2018.
2018. I mean, it felt like the last 3 or just were like poof.
Yeah, they were poof.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very sensitive about the 18th Street one because that was such a weird location, but it was so cool and iconic. But I always say that's where we started. That's not who we are.
Yeah.
And transferring from that location into the flagship was just like such a beautiful moment. I feel like we had worked so hard, and to finally emerge as who we were always meant to be
Yeah.
in that beautiful location.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. I feel like people don't see it enough though.
No, and I was just talking because I'm hiring this like brand coach,
Yeah.
personal brand coach.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't have any PR. I don't
Yeah.
have any I feel like you have to pay for everything now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any organic PR. I'm like, we're so cool.
You
like
are.
we're such a cool coffee shop. I don't know what the hell is the matter.
Yeah.
I mean, where is Architectural Digest? Like where we are such like the aesthetic in there is just wild.
So spot on.
I know.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing. It's stunning. I feel like it's like you're going into, this is so not the right thing to say, but just, just a different place.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, everything is just dialed to a T.
And coming out and doing that store and actually having food and putting it on plates and serving plates of food. I hired a chef. Like I knew we already had such crazy eyes on us just with the industry and how everyone perceived us, but I wanted to go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't want anyone to say one fucking thing about my food. It had to be perfect. It had to be amazing. And I hired a chef, and I worked with a chef to create that menu. And there was a lot of thought that went into that, and the food is delicious. It's not just like a coffee shop that has a kitchen,
right? Yeah, that's what that's what I mean. I feel like people don't really, not everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I need a sign spinner out front or something like that.
I know. I'll spin a fucking sign. Maybe
You're
that's
not
what
above that.
Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Get out there in your Bronze Bunny outfit and spin a sign on Irvine Avenue.
I actually got in trouble when I opened Bronze Bunny on 17th Street. It was my very first brick and mortar, and then I moved out of that in about 7 months. I grew right out of that and opened the other one.
Yeah.
But the first thing I did, because this was before, we didn't have Instagram.
What are you gonna say?
We didn't have anything. So I hired this. I think I put it on Craigslist. I was looking for cute, spunky girl to wear bikini. So this girl, I had a few people show up, but I ended up picking this one girl. I gave her a sign. I put her in bunny ears and a little pink bikini with a bunny tail, and I sent her out on 17th Street. That girl came right back in 5 minutes because the city came out, the police came out. Oh yeah, there was somebody in our building that was not into that. I was so sad because that was how I was going to market Bronze Bunny.
Right. That's not a lot. It makes me think of, I grew up in Florida, I dare say, and we had hot dog stands on the side of the road, and the girls wore bikinis. G-string bikinis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, and it was, but they sold so many hot dogs. And there was no rules around that. I'm like, oh my gosh, these ladies can sell hot dogs.
I mean, look at all the
bikini
coffee shops.
Yeah. Right. So
it's fun. When we opened Microdose, that was actually not bikini coffee shop, but I had the girls out on skates and little white skirts and pink crop tops. And that was such a vibe. But then, of course, my head of HR, she's like, this is such a liability. Do we have to have them on roller skates? I feel like we need to have some waivers going around. And so she did not like that.
Why is always everyone trying to make you not have fun?
She actually, I remember, I have the text still. It was me and my ops manager, and I'm texting HR. I said, hey, so we're going to put the girls on skates. And she responded back with, Jesus, take the wheel.
Oh my gosh. It has got to be fun to be on your team of corralling you on what to say or liability, all of that stuff.
Yeah. I won an award. I won an award for the biggest HR liability from my Bronze Bunny Awards. My team ended up putting an award together, and that was my award. And it's very, I mean, it's
spot
pretty on brand.
Huh? Yeah. Well,
yeah, I'm a huge liability.
Making it happen.
Yeah. But 2024, I'm going to be really professional.
That's right. We're cleaning it up here.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 2024, I'm curious. I mean, you've had all these poof shops open up, right? Instantly. What is next? Where are you growing?
So this last summer, my husband and I, we decided that we weren't going to open any more shops in the summer. Mm-hmm. We bought our house and we built our pool and we did, all these things that we had sacrificed and not done for so long. We finally did them, and we just wanted to enjoy the summer with our family. And now we're strategizing for 2024, and we've been in talks with a couple potential partners to scale and grow Bronze Coffee Dose. And it's a very weird thing because we have been self-funded. It's just Oscar and I. We own 100% of the company, and we are at the point where we just can't sustain any more growth currently the way things stand today. So we're looking for a partner.
That is a good problem to have.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're gonna keep putting it out there. We might just build the deck and go pitch it and shop it around, or I might just wait for, the where I manifest. I don't know, whatever you want to call her, the divine, whatever.
Whatever kind of brings it to you.
Yeah. So I've been manifesting that, and maybe it'll just come without us having to do that. But franchising is also knocking at the door, which is so weird. And even my husband's like, I can't even believe that you would entertain that.
Yeah, especially with what you've shared around it.
Yeah, but we're going to be growing a lot.
But what we do, not to the level we want to do at, we usually want to try to recreate and do it better the next time.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That franchise is probably like, I do it different this time, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, regardless of what you do there, I just think what a great opportunity for someone who would want to come in and partner. I mean, you definitely have to have this outlook of that authenticity and that branding, but so fun. And what a golden opportunity for somebody who wants to jump in there.
And no one hustles harder than me.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Coffee Dose, even though we've worked really hard the last 5 years, I feel like we haven't even begun.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly feel that way. We haven't even scratched the surface.
What you've created in such a short amount of time is really remarkable.
Thank you.
And I genuinely, not that, it's not because of your creativity and everything, but I really, really believe so much of that is your authenticity, for you to be who you are and create it the way that is authentic to you. Says it all. Yeah. Well, this was really fun. I wanted people to understand that you can be authentic, and it really does create the best possible results for you.
Yeah.
And you are showing it, through your businesses and the joy. And congratulations on the house. I've been watching that too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank God for Case Real Estate.
Yeah. That was just the transformation of it. I'm like, your creativity just blows me away, your design aspect.
Thank you. I'm a Cancer, so I had to really create that.
Are you a Cancer?
I am a Cancer, yeah.
I did not know that. My husband's a Cancer. I have so many Cancer friends for some reason.
We're pretty
Capricorns
awesome.
And Cancers usually jive well together.
And we're sensitive.
Yeah. Sensitive, a little emotional,
Tough on the outside, hard crab shell, but soft on the inside.
Yeah, but loyal.
Yeah.
Well, again, it was a pleasure having you here.
Same.
So thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. If you know somebody who needs that little lesson in authenticity, that their business could use a boost by showing up as who they are, you all forward this episode to them. Follow Jeni online, Coffee Dose. Is the Instagram Coffee Dose?
At Coffee Dose Cafe.
At Coffee Dose Cafe, yes. And then Bronze Bunny. Whether you live here or not, following along on her branding and her authentic journey to build her business and what's true to her is an asset. So follow her along and stay tuned for more.